It's 6 a.m. Your alarm screeches, you wake up irritated, rush through your morning routine, and fight through traffic just to reach an office. Why? So you can spend the next 8 to 10 hours working for someone else. Modern humans spend roughly 90,000 hours of their lives dedicated to a job. But imagine a world with no bosses, no wages, no clocks, and no alarms. For 99% of human history, for roughly 300,000 years, this wasn't a daydream for our ancestors. It was their daily reality. So the question is, if they didn't have jobs, what did they actually do all day? We tend to assume that ancient human life was just a constant, brutal struggle, hunt, survive, and die young. But science proves we are completely wrong. In 1963, archaeologist Richard Lee conducted a study on the Jew/Huansi people of Botswana, a tribe still living exactly like our pre-agricultural ancestors. What he discovered shocked everyone. An adult spent only about 15 to 20 hours per week securing food. That's barely 2 to 3 hours a day. The rest of the time, they did whatever they wanted. And this isn't an isolated case. From the Hadza in Tanzania to the Martu in Australia, the data is identical across different continents. Our ancestors worked less than half of what we do now. If you think this only applies to modern-day tribes, let's look at the bones of the ancient dead. When archaeologists compared the skeletons of ancient hunter-gatherers to early agricultural farmers, the contrast was staggering. The farmers were shorter, their teeth were ruined from grain-heavy diets, and their spines showed severe arthritis from repetitive, back-breaking labor. On the other hand, ancient hunter-gatherers were taller, stronger, and far healthier. In fact, they had so much leisure time that 30,000 years ago, they deep-dived into caves in France to paint breathtaking, sophisticated art. They carved complex musical flutes out of vulture bones. They didn't do this for survival, they did it simply because they had the time. And they loved art. So, let's reconstruct a typical day in their shoes. You wake up naturally around dawn, whenever your body is fully rested. Everyone gathers around the morning fire, eating leftover meat or berries from the day before, just talking. Whether anyone goes out to hunt today depends entirely on how successful yesterday was. If there is food in the camp, nobody is leaving. By afternoon, people just sit in the shade and rest. They groom each other, play with the children, or craft jewelry out of seashells. Anthropologists document that adults spend at least 6 hours a day in pure social time, just talking, laughing, and joking. Because in a world without bank accounts or police, your only true insurance policy was your relationships. If people didn't like you, they wouldn't share food when you fell sick. At night, as the sun set, a different kind of magic happened. Around the fire, 80% of the conversations shifted to storytelling, myths, and adventures. This darkness, illuminated only by firelight, is where human culture, religion, and imagination were born. So, how did everything change? About 10,000 years ago, humans stumbled into agriculture, and agriculture was a trap. More farming meant more food meant a population explosion, and a larger population meant even more backbreaking labor to sustain it. Humans got locked into a cycle they could never escape. This gave rise to cities, rulers, soldiers, and eventually, jobs. The ultimate idea that your time belongs to someone else in exchange for survival resources. Today, we grind our whole lives away, chasing wealth, just so we can retire at 60 to relax, enjoy nature, and spend time with loved ones. Ironically, our ancestors woke up every single morning already living the exact life we spend our entire existence trying to buy back. We traded our freedom for security and our time for productivity. The next time your morning alarm goes off, ask yourself, was it really an upgrade?